Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will bring you some drama from Poland. Well, there are some things that actually are not pleasant, so I don't want to be sarcastic because some people have suffered as far as their properties have been destroyed to some extent, and that is due to the drones that have been flying over Poland, and they already decided that those were Russian drones without allegedly the evidence. However, I'm going to bring to you an article that talks about what really took place, and Russia is responding to those accusations that those drones were from Russia. All I remember that a number of years ago when there was a missile that killed two Polish citizens. That was a Ukrainian, well, it was an old Soviet missile, but Ukraine sent it, and two people were killed because of that. And until this moment, the no longer president, but still calling himself President Zelensky, did not apologize at all. So where shall we start? Maybe let's start with this article, and then I will bring you the press conference from with Polish President Karol Nawrocki. Then I will take you, we stay on Nawrocki because Nawrocki made some statements when he was in Finland about Polish troops not going to Ukraine. This is his declaration. So let's start. Let's start with these articles. What is this drama about, everyone? And how Russia is responding to it. Let's read it quickly. Drones over Poland. A representative of Russia spoke. So this will give us a summary of the situation as well as the response from the Russian Federation. We consider these accusations to be unfounded. No evidence has been presented that these drones are of Russian origin. Andrzej Ordash, Russian interim charge d'affaires in Poland, told the Russian news agency RIA Novosti. Polish Foreign Ministry spokesman Paweł Wroński said that the Russian representative will be handed a protest note after the violation of Polish airspace. According to Reuters, citing RIA Novosti, Ordash was summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This was confirmed by the spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Paweł Wroński, who said that the representative of Russia will be handed a note of protest after the violation of Polish airspace. Wroński noted that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not disclose the content of the note before it is handed over. And in an interview with RIA Novosti, Ordash stated that Russia is not interested in escalation, but Moscow does not expect that the Polish authorities in their anti-Russian frenzy will listen to the Russian side. So what took place? On the night of Tuesday to Wednesday, so last night, the operational command of the armed forces announced that during the Russian Federation's attack on Ukraine, Polish airspace was repeatedly violated by drones. Prime Minister Donald Tusk emphasized that the drones which posed a direct threat were shut down. So that's what happened, everyone. Now, before last night, and this is what I'm going to share with you, Polish president put out this post on his Instagram because he has been traveling a lot lately. As you remember, he went to the White House, to Washington, he met with Trump, then he was in Italy, in Vatican, he met with Pope. By the way, didn't kiss the ring, I've noticed, but that's a story for a Sunday video. He met with President of Italy, and he met with Giorgia Meloni, who didn't roll her eyes and actually seemed to like him very much. And then he went to Latvia. Well, actually, he went back to Poland. He attended a soccer match. I'm following all of this because I'm watching what's going on. Then he went to Latvia, and then he went to Finland. And when he was in Finland, he gave a speech and he addressed Polish troops not to be sent to Ukraine. I'm not talking about mercenaries. I'm talking about from this moment on. So after all those trips, he went back to Warsaw, to Belvedere, where he resides, and he put out this post. So let me show you. I'm gonna mute the sound because it might be the copy strike. So this is his post. He said, quick workout before the end of the day until tomorrow, or till tomorrow. So he's in shape. He's pretty active. And I look at this in a good way because it's not just the physical strength, it also is mental strength. Why I'm saying all of this? Because I think we're gonna witness in a very near future a lot of sabotage that will be created by the Ukrainian side. Because as you know, this is the president who does not want the social support for Ukrainians to be continued. So let's maybe go here now and let me play what he said during his visit in Finland, and then we return to the drone situation and what Nawrocki, Polish president, has said, what action has been taken and what action will be taken, and is NATO going to react to it. So I will be pausing this and translating from Polish into English the best way I can. So just bear with me. So this is from Finland. He's saying, one more time, 1 second, because I lost the track. I am not planning to agree, or I'm not going to agree to give my permission for participation of Polish troops sorry, it's not playing, to go to Ukraine. But at the same time, I of course declare after my talks with our partners, to be clear, sorry guys, the speed is slow. I said it in Italy, I said it in the United States. In Finland as well. That you can always count on Poland. I'm trying to translate it, but it's very slow. We showed that we are ready to help. But participation of Polish troops, and I'm going to close this because it's really hard like this. Okay, so what he said during that meeting in Finland. He said that Polish troops are not going to Ukraine. He's not going to permit that. He's not going to allow that. However, as a coalition of willing, he's going to help as much as he can. But he believes that the Western countries, they are very welcome to send their troops there. But Poland is not sending Polish soldiers. That's what he said. And you know, for that, I agree. Of course, we know that since the beginning, I'm talking 2022, right? There were a lot of Polish mercenaries and some Polish troops there, as I heard as well. But we have a different president now, and I think this will be a different story. You might not believe it, but I actually do. Doesn't mean he's not anti-Russian. He's very much so. But there is certain line that I think he's not willing to cross because Polish citizens don't want to participate in this end of story. Not to even say that the sentiments towards Ukrainians is a completely different now, about time, right? Like 3 years later. So now let's go to that press conference that took place, and what did he say during this press conference, what they are going to do with the drone situation in Poland. Let me find it one moment. I'm going to read this, turn off the sound. I'm going to read this to you because I know that a lot of you cannot read it, although it would be the best if you just play the regular voice and you can hear the tone of the voice. But let me read this. So he met with Prime Minister, he met with some officials after he was informed, about the drone situation around 3 a.m. in the morning. And he says, after analyzing the entire situation by phone, I decided to visit the operational command center of the armed forces, where General Klisz presented me with a comprehensive situation regarding the complex drone attack. At the operational headquarters, I also met with Prime Minister Donald Tusk. There I decided to organize a special meeting at the National Security Office. So they are going to have a security meeting within the next 48 hours. Such a meeting took place at 6:30. Of course, my ministers, the head of BBNU, and Prime Minister Donald Tusk participated in the meeting. Primarily generals, including, and he's mentioning all those people, that doesn't matter. So generals, but deputy ministers of national defense. During the meeting, we discussed the possibility of activating Article 4 of NATO. The discussion also concerned the need to strengthen Polish anti-drone defense in the context of Poland's cooperation with NATO. I also received a full report from General Kukuła, who said that within 48 hours, the Polish army would have a full analysis of what happened. So the next 2 days, they're gonna know for sure, and maybe they will not be calling those drones, I'm just paraphrasing now, Russian drones. Maybe it's actually very much Ukrainian drones, who knows, right? We kind of know. Regardless of the ending airspace of operations, as you are well aware, many Polish services are currently analyzing the damage in Poland. At the same time, I connect with those Poles who were affected by this drone attack and whose property was affected, or whether the real estate was affected, right? This information that will be within 48 hours, we would have full information about what happened in Poland. Also led me to the decision to convene the National Security Council within 48 hours. At the National Security Council, that's gonna take place. That's what he's saying. That's he announced it, but this will take place within the next 2 days. We must now have full information to be able to respond appropriately. I don't know, my English today is just, sometimes you have days like this. Appropriately, sorry, to the situation. This will be the moment when all political parties, parliamentary group leaders, and the most important people in the country will discuss not only what happened, but also what we should do in the future to prevent such situations from occurring. Throughout the process, ladies and gentlemen, I have also been in regular contact with the presidents of our allied countries, as well as with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. So that's it. This is an unprecedented moment in the history of the NATO, but also in the history of the most recent in Poland. This drone attack, ladies and gentlemen, is truly exceptional, so we must draw the full consequences of what happened. Finally, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, I would like to thank all Polish soldiers, especially Polish pilots. With all my heart, I wanted to thank our allies. Indeed, these mechanisms worked. We confirmed that within the NATO, thanks to the Polish soldier, the Polish pilot, and also our allies, we are able to respond to such situations also in cooperation with state institutions. So what's gonna happen now is they're gonna investigate. I saw some images from the house that had the roof destroyed, etc. I don't know how many of those drones have been shut down. I think at least one. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to give you the number, but that's what's up, everyone. On that note, on the note of the military topic, let's look at this. Dangerous combat vehicles are heading to Poland. The Americans decided, this is from yesterday, according to the US Embassy in Poland, the transport of over 100 M2 Bradley combat vehicles is already heading to our country. The machines will be used by stationed American soldiers who are to use them in the event of a conflict. There is more. The transport of American combat vehicles is part of the rotation of American soldiers in Poland. Currently, soldiers of the 2nd Battalion, 7th Cavalry Regiment from the 3rd Brigade, 1 Cavalry Division from the Fort Hood in Texas. Together with them, more than 100 M2A3 Bradley combat vehicles, which have been disposed of the American Depot 405, will arrive. Field Support Brigade in Mannheim, so Germany, and TLSCE 21, the support command of the Theater of War. Yeah, I mean, Theater of War. What a name, right? Mainly at the Kaiserslautern Conservation Center, but also at the Vilseck Conservation Center in the US Army garrison in Bavaria. So they are moving, sorry for mispronouncing, of course, they are moving stuff from Germany closer to the Polish border. Well, to Poland, but Polish border, I think they are heading towards Kaliningrad region. So, you know, northeast, so Belarus area. You shouldn't be surprised. And on that note, let's go to Pentagon and let's read this. Well, actually, let's look at the video. Why not? Let's look at video with Trump and what's up there. So here we go. Trump stuns European allies with defense funding cut announcement. So what's going on? Pentagon to cut funding for military readiness in Europe by 15 times. Saving money. US to eliminate legacy programs in Europe, shifts focus to Pacific. Oh, those two, huh? Big setback for Donald Trump's European allies as Pentagon declares funding cut. There will be some numbers, so just bear with me. Let's see those numbers right here. Okay. I'm gonna open this in a moment. So here how the numbers look like. US cut spending on army in Europe for 4th year. Defense budget. Big difference, no? Sorry, lost the numbers. Let's stop. Okay. So we have the Biden or whatever it was era, 23 and 24. So here was almost $500 million, $495 million. That was the defense budget trend in Europe. Then it was going down in 2024. And this year is $116 million. And next year will be 33.4. Look at this, everyone. So you think maybe less corruption in Europe? What do you think? That's what I think, but that's just my opinion. And if you want to read this in a professional way, you can actually go to, let me show you. I will attach the link, of course, down below in the description box from Financial Times. This is the official article that goes into details, how they're gonna cut it, how much they're gonna spend, etc., and the reasoning and so on. So I think that's all I have for you today, everyone. Today, Ursula the Witch will be delivering the speech about militarization in Europe, because that's what the witch does, you know. She wants to put a spell on everyone in EU to be believing in her BS. But that maybe will be a topic for tomorrow's video. So let's not freak out. The drone situation, there is always some drama. 3 years ago, we had a serious drama. 2 people died, and no consequences have been taken after all of this. So we see how this goes this time. That's all for today, everyone. If you appreciate the content, thank you so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and leave the comments down below and let me know, what do you think? The links will be attached down below in the description box. And I want to say huge thank you to Robert, who donated on my PayPal lately. I very much appreciate your generous donation. To everyone who joins me on Patreon and Locals, thank you so much. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's, let me show you, Ania K _44. One moment, everyone. It's always better to show you so then you remember. It's right here, Ania K _44. Follow me there. And that's it for today. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. Sorry for my English today. Sometimes I have days when it's just harder to pronounce, like my mind is drifting away somewhere else. Bye, guys. See you in another video.